going to be sharing with you in this video how to pass the tests when manifesting a new reality, because the truth is that right before you're about to break through into a new reality, it can sometimes seem like everything is working against you, like life is not working in your favor. You're gonna have all these old patterns coming up to the surface, all these old versions of you. There's gonna be things coming up to the surface, which sometimes the mistake that people make is they take it as a sign in terms of why they can't manifest something and why it's not working for them, when what should be done instead is that should be taken as a sign that you're actually moving towards what you want, and life is actually asking you in a certain way, like, are you ready for this new level? Are you ready to shift into who you prefer to be? And most people fail the tests and they fall back into the old reality. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to pass these tests, how to shift into the new reality, letting go of the old self that you no longer resonate with once and for all. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. And the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to pass the tests when manifesting a new reality, and I'm going to share with you in a moment in terms of why I'm saying tests in that way, is that when you're shifting into that new reality, when you're committed to become a new version of yourself, when you've decided that you're going to be something different, that you're going to become a new version of who you are, the first thing that I want to share with you is to watch out for old patterns coming up through situations, through people, through pretty much every avenue in life. Life will perfectly orchestrate the exact contrast in almost a magical way. Almost seemingly, it's almost like it's testing you, like, are you ready for this new reality? So for example, let's just say you've been in a 9-to-5 job your whole life and you're ready to transition into a business. You're becoming self-employed. Maybe you've been working on your business for a couple weeks. For example, you can apply this to anything really in life, but let's just say, for example, you're becoming self-employed. Now, let's say you've been doing that for a couple weeks and no success has been happening. Right before you're about to succeed, this is usually what happens, is maybe you have old people from your job asking you to come back. Maybe you have a similar kind of people coming back asking you, like, hey, do you want to work for this job? Do you want to do this job? Maybe you might have like a family member that doesn't really see your vision as much because it hasn't manifested yet, which is fine, nothing against them, but maybe they're just concerned for you. And they're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this whole business thing. Maybe you should go back to working a regular job. And usually there's no hate towards anybody. It's just people looking out for you. And again, it's just the way that I see it, the way that I interpret these things happening, is that what's happening is that this is just the old reality coming up. Basically, it's almost like insurance, because like some people can't handle a crazy shift. So you can be grateful for it. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. Don't see it as bad. Don't see it as like, oh my gosh, universe is against me, or something's happening. Because again, you create the meaning to circumstances in your life. The circumstances inherently, what do they mean? They mean absolutely nothing other than what you decide that they mean. So what does this mean? Pretty much whatever you want. But what does this mean? This means that when these things come up, you want to be aware that that is happening, because this is the association that I personally make for things happening like this, because it's the universe asking you, are you ready for this new reality? It's the old version of you coming up. Are you ready to say goodbye to this old version of you? Maybe it served you, maybe it was beneficial for you in many ways, but you're ready to become something more, something different, something else, something that resonates more for you. So the first step to this process to pass these tests is simply just to be aware that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, I want to say that it might happen, but in my experience, it is going to happen. Like, there's going to be these patterns coming up. It's inevitable. It's impossible, because life works through transitions, and some old part of you has to be let go of to step into the new, and it will come up and it will sort of be asking you, are you ready to let me go? Now, one thing that I want to point out before I get to the second point in this video is never see it as a bad thing. You can, in fact, not only not see it as a bad thing, but in fact, you can be grateful for it. even to the people and circumstances that are looking out for you, that are asking if you're ready, you could say, thank you. I appreciate your concern, but yes, I'm sure I want to continue with this reality. It's like, no thanks. I don't want to go into this job. I'm self-employed now. Now, if you decide, it's like, maybe I shouldn't create this business. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe these people are right. Now, if you make that choice, if you choose, whether consciously or unconsciously, to see it in that way, that is a choice, by the way, whether consciously or unconsciously, just want to point that out. You might go back to the old reality, not realizing that that was a choice to see it in that way. These people messaging you and asking you inherently, what does it mean? It means nothing. It means whatever you decide it means. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand when it comes to manifestation, is that some people take these things happening as a sign. It's like, oh my gosh, like maybe it's a sign from the universe that I shouldn't do this. If you say so, if that's your choice, if you want to make that choice, well then so it is, right? What we say is the case is the case. It depends on how you see it. Now, when you have a higher consciousness perspective, you're able to perceive opportunities and not be stuck in those old realities, and just to be aware of this, to have an expectation like, yep, there's going to be old parts of me that come up, can already set you up for success in a much more powerful way when it comes to stepping into a new version of who you are and a new identity, expanding your identity. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to pass the tests when manifesting a new reality, and by the way, if I have mentioned already, I believe I have, the reason I'm saying tests in this way is because you can see it as a test. It's just your subconscious testing you. It's not the universe actually testing you. You can just see it in that way to make it easier to transition. So I just wanted to add that as well. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you is that it's really important to pass these tests to define clearly what you want and don't want, what you're willing to say yes to and what you're willing to say no to, right? If somebody asks you and invites you into a job, you want to be decisive enough to say, no, that doesn't resonate for me. And it's not personal. It has nothing to do with the person. You don't see the person as bad, right? When you're stepping into this higher level of manifestation from a higher level of consciousness, not that you're better than any other being or anything like that, but it's just, you don't see things as bad anymore. It's just, that doesn't resonate for me anymore. Some people might see it as ego. Some people might think that you're totally an ego and that, you're full of yourself. And that it's like, how does this person so confident in themselves? And like, why are they? It doesn't matter. No thanks. I appreciate it, but no thanks. The people that are conscious and aware, so to speak, will totally understand and not take it personally whatsoever. But it doesn't really matter. That's not your concern. Your concern is to fully define and speak out loud what you're willing to do, what you're willing to step into, and what you're not willing to step into. So this is why you want to know what you want 100% when it comes to the manifestation process. Because if you're indecisive, if you haven't fully decided, yes, this is who I want to be, when those tests come up, you're going to be very fragmented and you might fall back into those old realities simply because you haven't fully decided that this is who you prefer to be now. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, really, other than the fact that you'll be going to the old reality. So it could be something wrong for you relatively, but there's nothing really absolutely wrong with that. It just might not allow you to manifest what you actually want. You might go a little bit forward and then go back again, go a little bit forward, maybe get some success and go back to the old reality and not understand why this is happening to you. And in my experience, this happens to people because simply they have never defined what they truly want, what's really important to them. It's like, okay, after many experiences of contrast and doing this and doing that, it's like, okay, if somebody asks me to do this, I'm gonna tell them no. Just no, that doesn't resonate for me. Because usually we do these things and we say yes because of FOMO, God, fear of missing out. Like, what if I don't get to do what I want to do? What if I don't get to go where I want to go? And all these concerns, and it's like, what if I miss out on this? Just commit to what you want and decide that that is who you are and say no to everything else. A lot of times success and manifestation is just about saying no to what you don't want. Nope, that doesn't resonate for me, that doesn't resonate for me. And then automatically all that's left is who you really are. Just say no to who you're not. That's not me, that's not me, that doesn't resonate, that doesn't resonate. What's left at that point? Who you really are, who you've always been at some level of consciousness, but perhaps you never gave yourself permission to embody that. So you do want to define clearly who you want to be, what you don't want, what you're willing to say yes to, what you're willing to say no to. So you need to define clearly. Being a 9-to-5 job, for example, that's not me anymore. Make a choice. Declare it. Even say it out loud if that empowers you. Write it down in your notes. Tell somebody in the conversation, that is not who I am. Nothing against you, nothing against our past relationships or whatever I used to do with you in terms of how I used to engage, but that's just not resonating for me anymore. It doesn't feel right in my heart. And then so you just communicate that, and you can tell people that this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Now when you do this, what you'll find is that your reality starts to manifest in extremely epic ways, because it's almost like life, the universe, you are life, you are the universe. You're showing life, the universe, yourself, you are the universe, that actually you are going in this direction now. You're sending out that signal, you're sending out that vibration, you're sending out that signal that this is who I am now. And then you let go and you surrender to unconditional awareness, to consciousness, to life, to God, to the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates for you, whatever you believe in. You surrender that this is who I am now. And you have that power, by the way, to choose who you are and surrender into that. You let go fully into that new version of you, and you trust that that is who you are now. Why? Simply because you decided that is the case. And why is this possible? Because we're divine creators, but we just don't know it. We forgot that's who we are. And so I hope that this video is helping you to get a little bit closer to that and realize your power, that this is who I am and that's who I am. And then so it is. Now, the third and final thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to pass the tests when manifesting a new reality is to number 3, commit to your reality fearlessly and relentlessly. Once you know what you want, whether it's like I want to start this business, whether it's I want to be this artist now, whether it's like I want a romantic relationship and this is what I want, whatever. Probably not the best example, the romantic relationship, but it could be anything. Like it's whatever you want, you know, like there's no right or wrongs in life. And the reason I said it's not the best example is because like committing to a romantic relationship, I mean, you can decide that that's who you are in terms of like, I am going to have a romantic relationship, or decide that you're already in a relationship if that's something you believe in, if that's what you resonate with. So I guess it's not the worst example, I just didn't really know how to communicate it when I brought it up. But whatever you're committing to, whatever it is that you want, you have to be fearless, you have to be relentless, you have to ignore the circumstances and say no to what is contradicting your desire. Because your desire is going to manifest. I just wanted to remind you of that. It is going to manifest. You want to have that mentality. It is going to manifest. In fact, if this helps you, believe that on some level of consciousness, it already is manifested. You just have to give yourself permission to live into that version of yourself that already exists. How do you do this? Say no to who you're not. Be fearless. When these tests come up, what you can do, and what works for me, is you can actually use this as a reason to motivate yourself even more. Like for me personally, I used to get bummed out when these challenges happen. Like even a second ago, like when I was editing a video to post on YouTube, I noticed that I was totally off center and I had to re-record the whole video, and I was like, okay, this is exciting. There's probably a reason for that. The reason is because maybe I can record an even more epic video and my energy maybe is more balanced, whatever. I just come up with reasons that are supportive to what I want to create, because what else am I gonna do? Be a victim? What is that gonna do? Absolutely nothing. It does nothing for anybody to be a victim. In fact, it creates what I call a lose-lose scenario, which I'm going to be recording a whole video on the lose-lose scenario. So leave a comment down below if you want to hear more about that in terms of the lose-lose scenario and how that doesn't help anybody. And of course, the contradiction to that, or the opposite of that, which is the win-win, which supports you and others, which is actually our natural state of being. But we'll save that for another video. Now, what I want to remind you is to commit to that new reality. Commit to it. Commit. Be fully invested in that reality. So when these tests come up, you use it as motivation to be even more dedicated. When that challenge comes up, you're like, no, doesn't matter, still gonna happen. Doesn't matter, still gonna happen. And use it. Let it drive you. Let it motivate you. In fact, like I was talking about, which I didn't finish the point, I actually work best under these conditions. I like a challenge. You know, I believe that our challenges are actually there to help us become our greatest version. I believe that on the other side of your greatest adversity is your greatest version, your most healthy, your most vibrant, the most abundant, most epic, amazing version of you is at the other side of that challenge that can either break you, it can turn you into a victim, it can turn your reality upside down, or if you have that level of consciousness, if you choose to see it in that way, if you expand your identity, you use it as a reason to motivate yourself even more. So not only do you just reinterpret it in a way, it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go on anyways. No, actually, you re-alchemize those frequencies and you use it to be even more motivated, even more committed, even more connected to who you want to be. So just flip it, turn it around completely flip it upside down in a positive way and use it to be even more motivated and commit to who you prefer to be instead, and decide who that new version of you really is. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Also, leave a comment down below if this video was supportive for you in any way. I love to read the comments. I read every single comment and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, once again, if you want to work with me, I already said that. So please hit that like button for me so that more people can get access to this content because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are divine creators of their reality and that they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next